What is success to you? To some people it's position, to others it's status, and to a lot of people it's all about the Benjamins. Or in my case, the Washingtons. The Netflix original film Rising High, or Betonrausch, follows two men who seemingly just can't get enough. And I just can't get enough. Anyone? No? Viktor and Gerry run a high-stakes gamble of expensive real estate and shifty business dealings in order to amass a large amount of wealth. This German Netflix film is wrought with anxiety and tension, and that's mainly because of the two characters in the almost always perilous positions they seem to find themselves in because of the business dealings and the risks they take in order to attain more. Gerry has this scheme where he says, I can buy anything at the lowest price, and there is always a sucker out there who is going to buy it for the most expensive. And that in that gap, that's where they make their money. This was really stressful for me to watch because I, as a person, don't take financial risks, especially to the degree that Gerry and Viktor were. I mean, they would buy things dirt cheap to them and to the relative value of the properties that they were buying, but sometimes they didn't have the money. And they would float that time to then get the money. And that's where the shifty and the shading dealings come in, which added even more stress to the entire situation. The acting is really good from our leads. We have David Cross playing Viktor, Frederick Lau as Gerry, and Janina Usch, and I'm probably mispronouncing her last name, as Nicole. And by the way, Nicole, the character, looks dead on, at least to me, like Michelle Moynihan. I mean, look at this picture. That is crazy how similar the two look. Now, the three of them work to build just this impressive empire of wealth and status and power and just buying power even. But in true dramatic fashion, conflicting priorities are going to cause all kinds of tension within the group. And what's the root of all that strife? Well, of course, it's hubris. I mean, there is so much hubris on display between especially Viktor that it is insane. I mean, this guy cannot get enough. And that's why I asked at the very beginning, what is success? Because you get to look at Viktor and even Gerry and go like, at what point are you going to just be satisfied? You keep getting more and more, and you have so much, and you're risking it all every single twist and turn. And that's how the movie is. Now, it's a quick watch, but it was just wrought with that tension and that anxiety, especially for me who doesn't take risks. So I'm sitting here watching them make all of these crazy business dealings, and then you get to see also the aftermath and what they do to certain people that is just less than desirable also. At times, the editing and just the way that the film is made is very frenetic, that it is just like zipping and zagging and just moving, and you can't even focus at times, but it fits the tone and the mood of those portions perfectly. I mean, it really works because at that time, it's a frenetic scene or it's just a crazy environment or an atmosphere. And so you expect some wild camera movements and you expect some weird editing that's going to jar you a little bit, and it matches perfectly. I like in this how the story is told from a complete flashback. I mean, we're shown a bit at the very beginning, and then we get to know all of the rest of it and how we led up to this point as the story is being told to us. While that's not a new way of storytelling, it worked well for this one. And I think it really set up because we knew at some point something has to break, right? You can't just continue down this path without something happening. And so they show that to us up front, and then we get to see how we got to that point. Now, honestly, though, the weakest point of this entire story is its message. Nobody learns anything. There's no real growth in this. And that's disappointing when you see it should be a cautionary tale at some point, and what they end up doing is glorifying a lot of the behaviors. And I think that's unfortunate. Now, I know that people, hey, they do terrible things and they still succeed and they get away with it, and how all of that plays out. I know that's real life. But I just wish in this type of movie where we get to see this behavior and it leads to a point and something happens, that the characters have an opportunity for growth. That you get to realize something, maybe the error of your ways or a better way of doing it or a different way of doing things, or, well, if I had it to do over again, I would change this so I didn't end up here because it did this. And we don't get any of that. Because the movie's dealing with high finance and real estate and just all kinds of monetary figures and ways of moving money and shifting money and creating money and spending money, it can get very complex. And I liked, though, that they spelled it out, that they really made it accessible to somebody who's not in that world. I don't wheel and deal in real estate and then also figure out ways to lend money or to get money or to make money out of nothing. I mean, I don't live in that world. And so it could be very, very foreign to me. And then you pile on the fact that it's non-English, so I have a language barrier also going in there. They executed it really well. It was simple to understand. I got the gist of it. I understood what was going on and how they were making what they did happen. I said it was a quick watch, and it's only 94 minutes long, and so it did move by at a really good pace. I mean, the pace of the film itself was deliberate, and it was moving, and it didn't drag. But I found that it was, just high tension for me, high anxiety, because of also their lifestyle. I mean, there's a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol going on, and then you combine that with all of the money changing hands and the risks and the dealings that they're doing, that I just found myself, it was not an enjoyable watch from a relaxation standpoint. I was entertained, and I was intrigued at everything that was going on, but I wasn't calm. And it wasn't just a thing where after the movie ended, where I could just go, okay. I was like, no, I need to decompress a little bit. I just feel like on edge because my body is not used to that. And my brain is like, oh. If you're looking for an exciting story with some humor, a lot of tension, and just some stress built in there, but it's still entertaining to watch, then you might want to check this one out. But like I said, beware, not everybody learns lessons, so that could frustrate you in the end. There is sex, nudity, profanity, some violence, and a lot of drug use. I give Rising High 3 out of 5 couches. So are you a risk taker when it comes to finances, or do you tend to play it safe? Either way, I play it safe. There's no judgment if you're a risk taker. I know plenty of risk takers who do that and become very profitable because they know how to work the system. Either way, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.